My name is Dr. RickyAllmon. I'm the author of the life lessons book, Living in Full Effectiveness. This book was inspired by my favorite book in the Bible, which is the book of Proverbs, which gives us more than principles and philosophies, but it provides practical application for daily living. It is important that we understand how not to just navigate the function of our life, but how to negotiate the roles in our life. Your functions may change, but your roles are constant. And so through the life lessons journey, I want to encourage and empower you how to turn your failures into your focus, how to use your fears as your fuel so that you can maximize your potential and be productive in your purpose. In other words, this book is designed for everyday people to get everything out of life.
Dr. RickyAllmon's new book, Life Lessons, is focused on purpose, productivity, and faith. Let's first talk about the book that you have.
So you have 31 Proverbs, but my favorite is actually the first one. Of course, anybody going through the book, they may have another one that's their favorite, but my favorite is the first one. It's called Show Your Scars. And that life thought deals with the fact that your scars are more than a reminder of your past.
Absolutely.
It's a reward for your survival.
Yes.
It's a sign that your wound has healed. And so oftentimes when people look at their scars, they go, oh, there can't be anything good about this, because they think about the miserable moment or the unfortunate circumstance that gave them that scar. What they're not realizing is that scar is actually a sign that there's more left in front of them than behind them. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it best. He said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Good evening, everybody. I hope you are doing exceptionally well. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. RickyAllmon, and welcome to episode 6. Can you believe it? We are 6 episodes in, episode 6 of Life Talks Leadership After Dark. Listen, I know some of you all were already in the waiting room waiting for us to come on tonight, but here's what I need you to do. I need you to share this conversation on your Facebook timeline. Share this on Twitter, repost it on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and share it. Whatever platform you're on, I ask that you go ahead and share this now. Come on, let's go. Put this on your platform so that those connected to you can receive what you're going to receive tonight. So you don't have to try to go back and give it to them secondhand. They can hear you now. How you doing, Myra? Good evening. Thank you for being here. So quickly, go ahead and share this. If you're on Facebook, share it on your Facebook timeline. As a matter of fact, you can start a watch party. So go ahead and start a watch party so that the people that are connected to you, that are your friends and your followers, they can interact with you while you interact with me. So let's go ahead and do that. While we're doing that, you all know how we roll. Let's do our quarantine roll call. Shout out your city, wherever you are. I know some of y'all may not be under the stay-at-home, stay-in-place order. Anyway, I hope that you are being safe and sensible and doing the right thing, regardless of what the order is or isn't in your part of the country. I hope you're taking care of yourself and your family. But let's do a quarantine roll call right quick. Just type quickly what city you're in. I'm in Chi-Town. Where are you at? I know where you are, Myra. But shout out quickly what city you're coming on from, what state you're in. Let me know where you're hanging with us at tonight. Somebody's on from Calumet Park. Pamela, good to see you. That's Chi-Town. I see Chi-Town represented in here tonight. So go ahead and shout out your city quickly. Let me know where you're on from. While we're doing this, go ahead and share this conversation to your page. I see Nola in the building. New Orleans, as they say, is in the building. Chi-Town, I see you. Myra, I see you. Chicago. Picayune, Mississippi. That's not that far from New Orleans. Riverdale, Illinois. Y'all are doing good. Come on, shout out your city. Shout out your state. It's good to see you all tonight. I'm glad you all are hanging out with me for a second. I've got some great things to share with you that I believe are going to help you as you maximize your potential, mobilize your purpose, and multiply your possibilities. Is there anybody here that just wants to see more happen in your life, in every area of your life? Go ahead and tap that screen, release some hearts, and just type the word more. I mean, you want more in every area of your life, more productivity, more possibilities. You just want more. Maybe you say, you know what, I need more peace, or I need more focus. Everybody needs more of something. And so I hope I can help you to accomplish your more tonight. Thank you for being here. One last time, share this to your timeline. Let somebody else know that episode 6 of Life Talks Leadership After Dark with Dr. RickyAllmon is live and in living color. And I'm ready to talk to you tonight. I see you typing more, more, more. That's what we want in our lives. Listen, if you want to stay connected to me, just text the word Impact Life to 31996, the word Impact Life to 31996, so that you can stay connected to me. If you want to receive a text message whenever I'm coming on for Life Talks or any other conversation I have, or with anything else that I may have going on, just go over to your text messaging and type the word Impact Life to 31996. I want to make sure that you're always connected to me. We've been engaging an incredible conversation over these past 6 weeks. And we've been talking about our focus has been leadership in the time of change. And I believe it's very critical for any leader that if he's going to be effective at any time, it's imperative and important for him to understand the times. And in understanding the times, it's very critical that a leader have both the proper strategy and the right structure. There is nothing more frustrating than to have a great idea, but not have the right infrastructure to facilitate that idea. And so over these 6 weeks, we've been talking about strategies and structure. We've talked about Don't Dance with Dinosaurs. We've talked about the DNA of a dinosaur killer, helping you to understand the importance of making sure that you have the right parameters or the right structure in your life so that it could facilitate your paradigms, your creativity, the goals that you've set for your life. And then we spent some time talking about the 5 keys to productivity. If you missed any of those conversations, all you have to do is go back in my Facebook timeline or Twitter or Periscope, and you can rewatch those conversations. I want to move forward tonight for a few moments, and I want to talk about the leading edge. That's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the leading edge. And if I can make edge an acronym, if I can make the word edge an acronym, the E would be for excellence, which is who do you want to become? The D would be for desire, which is how much are you willing to give? The G would represent goals, which is how far do you want to go? And the E would represent expectation, which is how far can you see? We're talking about the leading edge. And if I can make the word edge an acronym, I see somebody typing it. Thank you so much. The E is for excellence. Who do you want to become? What is it that you see within you that will reveal more of you? D is for desire. How much are you willing to give? G is for goals. How far do you want to go? And then the E is for expectation. How far can you see? As we talk about the leading edge, I believe that there's one characteristic of a leader that's most critical if a leader is going to live on the edge, if they're going to live a life of excellence, a life of desires, a life of goals, a life of expectation. There's one word that should be a principal trait of a leader that's going to live on the leading edge, and that word is integrity. It's the word integrity. Now, I know when we talk about integrity, we take a moralistic posture with it, and I get that. And integrity is a part of our moral code as human beings. But I think it's important to understand that integrity is more than something you do. Integrity has everything to do with who you are. In other words, integrity is inextricably tied to identity. Show me a person with integrity, and I'll show you a person that's secure in their identity. And then on the other hand, show me a person that doesn't have integrity, and I'll show you a person that's insecure in their identity. So it's important to understand integrity. If you're going to be a leader that lives on the leading edge, if you're going to live a life of excellence, if you're going to live a life of desire, if you're going to live a life of accomplishing goals and having high expectations, it is critical. It is critical that you have integrity. And this, again, this goes beyond just the moral act. This extends to a place of identity. Let me help you understand this. If I were to ask you, what is one word that you think about when you think of integrity, most of us would say truthfulness. That's what most of us would say, truthfulness. When you think about integrity, the first thing comes to mind is truth. But truth about what? Where does truth begin when it comes to integrity? Somebody talk back to me. If truth is synonymous with integrity, then where does truth begin? Or what does truth begin with? I think that's a critical question to ask. All right, y'all waiting for me to give the answer, so here it goes. The truth of integrity doesn't begin with any action that you take externally. The truth of integrity begins with your agreement with yourself internally. Let me tell you that again. If integrity is synonymous with truth, then the question is, where does truth begin? And the reality is, truth does not begin with the actions that you have externally. But truth begins with your agreement and your alignment with who you really are internally. As a matter of fact, I think it's important to have a little mini Bible study tonight. In Psalm 51 and verse 6. In Psalm 51 and verse 6, David said this in one of his prayers. He's talking to God and he says, "Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom." Pamela, you're right on it. The truth begins in the heart. David said, "Thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden parts thou shalt make me to know wisdom." And that's important to understand, because if you're going to be a person of integrity, it's important to realize and imperative to understand that integrity has everything to do with your agreement with yourself. Do you know, I don't want to get in trouble tonight, but do you know the area where we often show the most untruthfulness? Or who we show the most untruthfulness to? You got it, yourself. Most of us, our issue with integrity is not with those around us, not with our relationships, not in our business. No, most of us, the issue of integrity is we're not being true to ourselves. How can that be true, Dr. Allmon? Here it is. Are you doing with your potential what you know was designed as your purpose? Are you using your potential to fulfill the purpose that you know God has for your life? Or have you subjected your life to the circumstances around you and limited yourself to what other people tell you? If you have, then you're not showing integrity. Exactly. We lie to ourselves more than anybody else in the world. So here's what integrity is. Integrity is a firm and resolute agreement and alignment with a particular moral code and artistic values. In other words, integrity is about who I am intrinsically first and not just what I say or do externally. Most of you, when you heard me say we're going to be talking about integrity tonight, the first thing you thought about it is what most of us think about in a parochial context when we think of integrity, and that's, being honorable in what I do and what I say. But it goes beyond that. Integrity is you being consistent in who you know you really are. Integrity is you being in alignment and agreement with what's on the inside of you and not allow the things around you to dictate or diminish what you're supposed to be doing. So that's why David said in Psalm 51:6, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. I like Eugene Peterson's Message transliteration of Psalm 51:6. The Message Bible says this: you're the one I violated, and you've seen it all, seen the full extent of my evil. You've had all the facts before you. Whatever you decide about me is fair. I've been out of step with you for a long time, in the wrong since I was born. What you're after is truth from the inside out. Enter me, then conceive a new true life in me. So integrity is not only synonymous with truth, integrity is synonymous with identity. So I want to expand your understanding, your lexicon, and the connotation of what integrity means. Integrity is not only the truthfulness of your words and your deeds. Integrity is the truthfulness of your identity. Are people getting the real you when they see you? When you see you, are you representing the real you? Are the choices you're making, are the goals that you set, the dreams that you have, the job that you're working, do those things represent who you are, or have you been an imposter of yourself? Yeah, that's why this is called Leadership After Dark, because this is for grown folk tonight. Because some of us, the reason why we're not attracting to our lives what we want for our lives is because our future has something for us, but it can't get it to us because it can't identify us. Did you hear what I said? And you just crying and praying, God, I know you got something better for me. God, I know you want to do some things in my life. And God saying, yes, I do. And he's saying, you don't have to ask me for it. I already have it for you. The only reason you don't have it is because you're not looking like the person that it belongs to. So I wonder how many possibilities have been stored up for you that you're missing out on because you don't have integrity in your identity, because you let other people dumb you down. You let situations hold you back. You let opinions keep you from moving forward. It's time for you to have integrity. So integrity is the sameness and agreement within yourself concerning everything that makes you who you are. It's the consistency of not only your words and your deeds, but the consistency of your thoughts, words, and deeds. That's integrity. Not just what I say, not just what I do, but it goes down to what I think. Are your thoughts about you integral? Are you seeing yourself the way God sees you? Or have you limited yourself to some insignificant circumstance or situation that you went through in your past. And this is very critical to understand, because integrity is not just about what others accept as truth. It's about what you know to be true. Some of us, hell, I'm really getting in trouble tonight. Some of us have lived our lives in a state of deceitfulness. Myra said this feels like a God whooping tonight. Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it, Myra? I didn't plan to hit you all like this, but obviously this is how you all need it, because there's more that's been prepared for your life. But in order for it to show up as your life, you have to look like yourself. Let me say that again. There's more that has been prepared for your life. But in order for it to show up as your life, you need to look like yourself. Stop looking like your situation. Stop looking like your last failure. Stop smelling like your last disappointment. It's time for you to put on the fragrance for your future. And that fragrance is called integrity. Shakespeare said it best in his poetic and prolific musings. Shakespeare said, "To thine own self be true." I mean, if you're going to be honest with anybody, you should be honest with yourself. And you know what's interesting? Is even though you can't lie to God, I mean, even if you tell God you didn't do what he know you did, you can't really lie to him because he already knows. But you know who you can lie to? You can lie to yourself. You can actually convince yourself of something that was never designed to be you. And as a result, it keeps you out of what was designed for you. So here's what I want to give you tonight. In closing, I want to give you 4 things that are necessary so that you can live a life of integrity. There are 4 things that you need in your life that will help you to live a life of integrity. If you have not shared this conversation to your timeline on Facebook or on Twitter, if you have not shared this on YouTube, I need you to share it right now, because I'm getting ready to give you something that not only you need, but everybody connected to your life needs. So quickly, especially on Facebook, go ahead and share this conversation right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You got 3 more seconds. Share this. Just hit that share button right underneath this. Let it go to your profile and your page and on your timeline, because I'm getting ready to give you 4 things that will help you to have integrity within yourself. You can no longer allow your circumstances to keep lying to you about you. You can no longer allow people that don't even care about you to keep lying to you about you. It's time for you to get integrity. David said he desires truth in the inward part. Integrity is not outside in, it's inside out. Listen, just because you appear to be doing the right thing based on what you've been doing doesn't mean you're doing the right thing based on what you ought to be doing. You have some people say, well, you know, Dr. Allmon, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but is it what you're supposed to be doing? I do realize that those of you that are watching this, some of you may be watching this somewhere where you cannot share it, but most people should be able to share it. If you're on my Facebook page, hopefully you can share this. You all let me know whether you can share this or not. So it's imperative for you to have integrity. It's imperative for you to be true to you. So here are the 4 things you need. I hope you're enjoying this tonight. Here are the 4 things you need if you're going to live a life of integrity. Are you ready? You got your pen ready? Are you in your notes section on your iPhone or your Samsung or your tablet or iPad? Let's go. There are 4 things you need if you're going to have integrity in your identity. Number 1, is you need focus. That's number one. If you're going to have integrity in your identity, you need focus. That means you should always work with the goal in mind. Don't just do something just because you've been doing it. But whatever you do, it should be something that stretches you beyond where you are and reveals more of who you are. Let me give you that again. The first key to having integrity in your identity is to have focus, which means to always do something with a goal in mind. And the way that you know that what you're doing is worth your focus is it should be something that stretches you beyond where you are so that it can reveal more of who you are. So that's number one. You got to have focus. Number two is you need a sense of urgency. What is it that you desire to have in your life that requires you to do it now? What is it that you desire to have in your life that requires you to do it now? Something you've been thinking about, something you've been desiring to do, something you've been praying about. The Bible says this in Proverbs. The wise man said, "A dream deferred maketh the heart sick, but when desire cometh, it is the tree of life." I'm talking to somebody tonight. Everything you need in your future is waiting for you to respond in your present. So it's not enough to have focus on where you want to go. Secondly, you got to be urgent about doing something and stop procrastinating. And then number three, if you're going to have integrity in your identity, after you get focus, which is to always do something with a goal in mind, after you get urgency, which is to not procrastinate and put off, number three, you need confidence. This is very critical because when you get confidence, you'll have the ability to walk alone. And that's important to understand. I know we enjoy other people being around us. I know we enjoy other people being connected to us. But sometimes you got to learn how to walk by yourself. As a matter of fact, oftentimes, if you're going to accomplish anything great in your life, you may be the only person that believes in it initially. You may be the only person that thinks it can work. And I've learned something. I've learned something in my 47 years of living, and that is progress is contagious. Nobody likes to initiate, but please believe me, everybody likes credit. So even if what you're doing may benefit others, they may not believe in it when you begin. But I want to admonish you to do it anyway. And I promise you, if you'll just keep moving forward, if you'll just keep going after it, it's amazing. Progress always draws a crowd. And there'll be other people that'll come alongside you and join in and say, I knew you could do that. Man, I knew that was going to work. Well, they didn't really think it was going to work. They didn't even believe in what you were doing. But you know what? Because you made believers out of them by being willing to walk along. So if you're going to have integrity in your identity, number one, you got to have focus. Always work with a goal in mind. Number two, you got to move with a sense of urgency. Don't procrastinate. Don't put off. Move with deliberation and with intentionality. Number three, you got to have confidence, be willing to walk along. But then fourthly and finally, you've got to have discipline. And what that means is you got to do your best even when you don't feel your best.
I like to say it like this. You got to do good to be good, even when you don't feel good. That's how I look at it. I'll say it again. You got to do good to be good, even when you don't feel good. So discipline. If you know that there's something you're called to do, who said it was going to be easy? Who said you'll figure it all out at one time? Who said you wouldn't have any bumps in the road? But guess what? I believe you can do it. I believe you can accomplish it. And so let me give you a quick recap. If you're going to have integrity in your identity, number one, you got to have focus. Thank you, Prince. Number two, you got to have a sense of urgency. Number three, you've got to have confidence. And number four, you have to have discipline. I want to share a principle with you before I get off tonight. Write this down. It's called the law of the vital few, because this is very critical for leaders who are going to live on the leading edge, who are going to live in excellence, who are going to live with desire, who are going to live with goals and expectation. The law of the vital few says that 20% of the people do 80% of the work. 20% of the people, this is called the law of the vital few. It says 20% of the people do 80% of the work. So what that means is, as a leader, because all of us are leaders. I mean, even if you're a single person in your own home, you're a leader. Okay? So when I talk about leadership, I'm not talking about a particular role of leadership. I'm not talking about somebody that's a CEO or a pastor or any other. I'm talking about every person that's breathing. You a leader. You know how I know you're a leader? Because you have influence. And so as a leader, it's important to understand this law of the vital few, because if you're going to have focus, if you're going to live with a sense of urgency, if you're going to have confidence, and if you're going to have discipline, you've got to understand that you may not always have the support that you need. You may not always have the encouragement that you need. And so you got to know how to focus and take whatever you have and say, I'm going to use this to create what I need. And so the law of the vital few says 20% of the people do 80% of the work. So every leader should focus their time, energy, and resources on the 20% that are productive. In other words, don't spend all your time focusing on people that don't believe in you. You worried about the 80% when you got 20% that say, hey, look, I'm with you. I'm down for you like 4 flat tires. I'm hanging with you. Let's get this thing done. Go with them. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This has been episode 6 of Life Talks with Dr. Ricky Allmon, Leadership After Dark. I hope you've gained something from this tonight. Go ahead and tap that screen. Let me know that you've got what you need. You may not have known what you were coming for. Maybe you just happened to go past my channel or stop by my Facebook page, just snooping around, lurking around, and found out I was on tonight. But I hope it has been beneficial to your purpose and your potential as you live out your destiny. Listen, we're here every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Tell somebody else about it. And if you want a quick reminder, just text Impact Life to 31996. That's all you got to do. Text Impact Life to 31996. Pastor Hart, bless you. He said, I got what I needed. Myra says, great teaching. Y'all give me a shout out. Listen, if you look at the screen right here, if you appreciate what you've heard tonight, you can just stop by the Impact Group on Cash App or Ricky Allmon and just say, hey, look, this is blessing me. I'm putting my best resources into bringing you this content. for making sure I've got the right cameras, the right lighting, making sure I got everything on point so you can see and hear me and receive from me whatever it is that you need. Also, if you have other subjects, Myra, you're so welcome. I'm glad you will help tonight. If you have other subjects that you'd like for me to talk about, of course, I've created series that we'll be discussing throughout the weeks as we move forward with Life Talks. But maybe there's something on your mind. Maybe there's an area that you've been struggling in or that you just want to understand better. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to DM me, hit me on direct message on Facebook or on Twitter, or just leave your comment right under this live stream. Just type your questions there, and I promise you I'll respond to you. Listen, I know some of you lately have gotten the Life Lessons book. I want to encourage you, if you don't have it, you need to get it tonight. You need to get it right away. Go and get the Life Lessons book, Living in Full Effectiveness. I promise you it will bless your life. It's 31 Proverbs for a life of purpose and productivity. My favorite book in the Bible is the book of Proverbs. And so I was inspired to write this book so that I can provide a tool to others that I use for my own life. And that is to not only just have principles and philosophies, but to also make sure that you have practical application for daily living. So if you don't have the book, you need to go get it. I promise you it will make a difference in your life. Somebody asked me, where is it? I'm glad you asked. You can find the book on Amazon. It is available it's available in Apple Books. You can go there and get it. So there it is right there. Amazon, Apple Books. It's on Kindle. So you say, you know what? I don't like hard copies, but I like e-readers. I like to read books electronically. You can get a hard copy or electronic on Amazon. You can go to Apple Books and download it. You can go to Kindle to get it, or you can just go to RickyAllmon.org. You can go to RickyAllmon.org and you can find the book there. But I encourage you to get it. As a matter of fact, if you join me on this Saturday, I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to spoil it. Also, the Life Lessons audiobook is available. It just came out a couple of weeks ago. And so you can go to Audible. Some of you are subscribed to Audible. You can go to Audible. You can go to Amazon. It will also be on iTunes. And you can get the Life Lessons audiobook. It's in my voice. I'm narrating it. So if you want to go and get the Life Lessons audiobook, you can go and do that as well. And then this is what I want to tell you about. If you join me on this Saturday, every Saturday at 11:30 a.m., every Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time, I have a conversation with my brother and great friend, Reverend Stephen Thurston, and it's called The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, It Will Be Streamed. And we talk about life and leadership in the digital age. We help you to navigate just this maze of a life that we're in, especially with what we've just gone through in this pandemic and with COVID-19. But we just want to add things to your life that, again, will help you to maximize your potential, mobilize your purpose, and multiply your possibilities. And so this will be the 10th episode this Saturday. So in celebration of that, we've got some special promos for you. As a matter of fact, if you're on Facebook and you have not joined, The Revolution Will Not Be televised, it will be streamed. Go over and join that group now. You can see it right here in the caption of this live stream. Just click that link. There are 3 questions I need you to answer. Answer those 3 questions for me quickly and join the group, because there are going to be some special promotions after our conversation on Saturday that I want you to be a part of. And then on Sunday nights, I'm doing a conversation with another brother and friend of mine, I've been blessed with some great friends who are great collaborators. And on Instagram Live, I have an Instagram Live exclusive conversation with my friend Bishop Henry Bolden, who's one of the campus pastors in the New Home family of churches there in New Orleans. And we have a conversation at 7 p.m. that's just on Instagram. And we talk about leaders in a time of crisis and what that looks like. So you would enjoy that conversation. And then last but not least, Monday through Friday, I have a conversation called Ask Dr. Allmon. Yes, we are putting in the work. We want to make sure that we provide you every opportunity to get some inspiration, to be empowered, to be informed. And so Monday through Friday at 12 noon, I do something called Ask Dr. Allmon. As a matter of fact, you can come on and talk with me. And this is only on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can join that conversation and come on. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Go ahead and tell your friends, family, listen. Life Talks with Dr. Ricky Allmon comes on every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. And if you've already finished dinner around that time, just get your coffee, your tea, and come and sit down and hang out with me. Thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this tonight, go ahead and blow up this screen with a social media heartbeat. Let me know. Send me some love. I can feel it when you send it. Hey, Kathleen, good to see you. She said, I joined late, but I'll watch the replay. Thank you for stopping through. Go ahead and share this conversation, Kathleen, on your wall. You all have a great night. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye.